After days of violence in towns and cities across the UK, a dramatic response. Thousands of people coming together to demonstrate against right-wing rioters and racism. Crowds protected buildings where migrants and refugees have been living. On a night when right-wing groups had urged supporters to come out onto the streets, many had feared the worst. 6,000 specialised police officers were deployed to maintain order. The violence began in England and spread to Northern Ireland after a stabbing at a dance class in Southport. The attacker killed 3 children and injured another 8. Almost immediately, false claims spread online that he was an asylum seeker, that he had arrived on a small boat, and that he was a Muslim, none of which was true. Despite the police publicly correcting the facts, unrest erupted, with groups using online platforms to mobilise supporters. Prominent figures were linked to the English Defence League and their former leader, convicted criminal Tommy Robinson. The UK Prime Minister condemned the racist riots, not protests, and warned those involved would feel the full force of the law. Hundreds of arrests have already been made, with many more expected. Police are using the ample video evidence to search for suspects. Social media companies are in the spotlight, with calls for stricter laws governing hate speech and racism online. Elon Musk, owner of the platform X, has spoken out, echoing criticism by right-wing groups of policing tactics and even Keir Starmer. Some see this as Starmer's first test in government. Others see it as a test of modern, multicultural Britain.
As much pressure as we can.
Investigating the anarchy. There have been nearly 600 arrests now.
Hello, what's your name, please?
The alleged offences include violent disorder and racially aggravated criminal damage. And it's not just those who were there physically. This armchair rioter, Jordan Parler, has become the first person jailed for social media posts.
The country is bracing itself for more scenes like this. Police are aware of 30 gatherings and are preparing for a day of disorder. An extra 2,200 riot-trained officers are being deployed to confront whatever comes next. After days of a fray on the streets, the Prime Minister chaired a second meeting of the Emergency Cobra Committee.
Over 400 people now have been arrested, 100 have been charged, some in relation to online activity, and a number of them are already in court. And I'm now expecting substantive sentencing before the end of this week.
There are dozens already in the court system as a result of the unrest. Many more will join them. And these are the faces of some of those who have already pleaded guilty. Among them, 21-year-old Bradley Mackin, who admitted violent disorder and possession of cocaine and heroin. He was arrested after what police said was serious and sustained violence when hundreds rampaged through the centre of Sunderland on Friday night. And some have been sentenced. In Manchester, 18-year-old James Nelson, jailed for 2 months for smashing the windows of police cars during a disturbance in Bolton. Sunday's attack on a hotel housing asylum seekers in Rotherham, condemned as terrorism by a former police chief who once led the country's response to the issue.
It's very difficult to prove ideological intent when you're talking about terrorism, but I think it should be a warning to people who want to get involved in these offences that this is becoming a national security issue.
The sentencing of some of those who admitted rioting where violence first erupted in Southport has been brought forward. The unrest has its roots in the town where just over a week ago, Alice De Silva Aguiar, B.B. King and Elsie Stancombe were stabbed to death in a brutal attack. Southport is a closely knit community that have continued to come together to support the families of the 3 girls who went to dance and never made it home. The reminders of their innocence here in the town centre, a contrast to the images of anger we've seen across the country. This service for Alice was the first of many memorials and ceremonies for a community in mourning. It ended with a balloon release and a chance for the people of Southport to embrace loved ones. This family and 2 others have suffered losses that are unimaginable.
His spokesperson saying, quote, "There's no justification for comments like that." The message from government: social media has a responsibility here. Not just those that use them, but those that own them too.
They want to kill us. If they catch us, they're gonna kill us.
Watching on in horror as outside their window an angry crowd tried to turn over a police van. This is the moment Hamid and Abdullah, not their real names, thought they were going to die when the place they call home was attacked by an angry crowd who tried to set it on fire.
There is no humanity, if you understand what I mean. It's like, zombie. They burn, they want to kill, they make like that.
They make gestures.
Yeah, just like that, always. And we're gonna catch you. They make, we don't catch you, we don't catch you today, we're gonna catch you tomorrow. If we don't catch you tomorrow, we're gonna catch you after 1 weekend.
They're both here seeking asylum and showed me footage that they filmed when their hotel in Rotherham was attacked by right-wing rioters who then turned on the police. They've been moved to a new hotel. We won't reveal where it is or their identity for their own safety. 240 people seeking asylum had been housed here. They've all been moved on.
This quiet suburb 10 miles away from Rotherham last night became the scene of a pitched battle after a crowd who'd surrounded a hotel housing asylum seekers set it alight. The police have managed to move a crowd of around 100 to 200 down this end of the road, but they're still throwing glass bottles, they're still throwing logs, and actually 2 boys have just started a fire over there. By the time police had dispersed the riot, it was 5 a.m. and 12 South Yorkshire police officers had been injured with rocks, fences and other missiles.
In these activities.
In Tamworth, petrol bombs were thrown and the police attacked by people chanting racist slogans. One officer suffered a broken arm. The crowd then set fire to this hotel as inside asylum seekers and the staff feared for their lives. The hotel had previously been identified by the local MP, who said in a Commons debate, people want their hotel back. Today, Sarah Edwards said in a letter she condemned the violence.